Hello, this is Stephen Jerome, and I'm going to continue reading from my third novel, The London Year. Pick it up. This is part 60. It gets a little tricky for me because the next few paragraphs are somewhat graphic, not that they're salacious, but they're descriptive in the sex that Terry and Tess have discovered and are partaking in with gusto. But we already began the last part 59, with this sentence. Besides the exciting new routine working with Sebastian, the biggest change to life at the flat was Tess moving out. So that's almost a teaser for the new section of the book, Spring, and we'll get to that in a second. I'm just saying that we're going to pass over some descriptive sexual passages, and I'll continue this way, which is, "Put it in me," Tess whispered as we embraced. Yes, that's the woman's satisfaction, at least part of it, and I was happy to oblige. At its best, there's nothing passive about the receptive role. But alas, with Tess, I was never an adventurous lover. Hindsight paints a selfish picture. Yes, the sex with Tess was always satisfying, for me, as far as it went for Tess, too, according to her. She once said, "You're the best," after one of many good romps, but in foreplay I was never inclined to explore the lower regions with any more than my fingers, not even to go down and have a look around. It was only later I realized I never brought Tess to orgasm. Some men crave taking a woman to sexual abandon. I found the idea a little unsettling. Did I even know what was required? No, I did not. To admit that now makes me feel terribly ashamed. Then one day, the last day of January, Tess called me at work. She sounded excited and wanted to meet for lunch. The news was twofold. Blanche, her best friend, had just been accepted into a noted dance company, something that she'd been working toward for several years. Now she could finally afford to move out of the house in Hampstead. Too many big personalities was the way she explained it. More to the point, through family connections, there was a 2-bedroom flat available in Notting Hill Gate. An exceptional deal, and Blanche asked Tess to move in with her. The rent would mean little more than what she was paying to Colin, and considering life with Gracie, there seemed to be every reason to jump. I'll always be grateful to Sebastian for seeing, before I did, my potential as a professional photographer. If I wasn't ready to call it destiny, I had to agree with Gracie that the way things were working out for all of us did seem to make some kind of crazy sense. With my new Polaroid, sporting my new Daniel Hector jacket, arriving with Sebastian in his XKE, I felt like a pretty cool cat. And I was getting the shots. But there was more to it than photography. I learned how to socialize, how to mix, which I'd never done before. Just the way one entered a room could be an indication of belonging. Once I lost Sebastian in a crowd and stood there looking around. But to others I just looked lost, or worse, like I didn't belong. Sebastian came to my rescue, so I was automatically redeemed, but the protocol was clear. Watch from the edge. Giving directions to photo subjects could also be a delicate matter. On one occasion, at a posh reception for Andre Previn, conductor of the London Symphony, I was taken aside by the host and scolded for telling her very important friends to stand up straight. They'd been leaning in sideways as if my frame wasn't wide enough. Another time, when I asked a small circle to just look this way, they instantly rearranged themselves, lining up shoulder to shoulder, ruining the spontaneous group moment. I became impatient, saying, "No, no, no," and ended up not taking the shot at all. I heard about that later, too. None of these occasions were heavy drinking affairs. Sebastian hardly drank at all. I would never see him intoxicated. Following his lead, I hardly drank either. We were both there to work. He said that being prompt for appointments and keeping one's wits was crucial. There are sharks on every corner, he said more than once. I'll stop there, and we will continue with part 61 tomorrow. Thank you again for following along.